Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm going to be modeling for you today how to do a what's it called? A TDA based on art. And this one is asking us, well, let's look at the prompt and see precisely what it is asking us. To evaluate is to judge and to analyze is to study closely. Evaluate which work is better and analyze a smaller section to support your answer. Which do I prefer? I'm going to make it evaluate and judge and then analyze a little bit. So my preference is for this one on this side. I am a sucker for having a person for scale in the painting, and it looks like this person is reading. And I also see I like this dark forest canopy and the shadow play underneath it. So, lot to recommend that painting. I don't dislike this painting actively, but I do have to say that these clouds right here, those are corny clouds. You could have worked a little bit harder on those. I don't quite like their curviness. It's too Mario for me. So let's see if my choice wins. Oh, boo. I lost. All right, looks like everybody else voted for Forest Monster. So which thesis statement is the best? Well, let's see. Uh, to evaluate is to judge and to analyze the study closely, evaluate which work is better, and analyze the small section to support your answer. Blank painting is better because of 1, 2, and 3. Title of painting is better than the other painting because it has a lot of interesting details, like you can tell that the artist is really good and experienced, possibly. And then the title of painting is really an interesting painting with a ton of great detail. Those two work, but I think that top one is best. So I'm going to go with this one, and guess what? That's a correct one. So now it says to drag the 1, 2, and 3 to the part of the picture you would like to analyze further, right? So here's the detective. You're the student. You're going to analyze. Now that you've made your judgment, Forest Monster is better, presumably. Well, number one, the monster itself is pretty impressive and creative. There's much going on there, right? We've also got our scale, right? Our sort of our avatar, who we're supposed to be looking up at this monstrosity. And then three, I just like these dark forest greens. Perhaps you chose something different. Maybe you liked the mountains, right? But those are the three parts that we would analyze further to support our assertion that Forest Monster is better. Okay, now we've got to write our thesis, and you can write it using the red sentence starters, no problem. However, I also have a little helper um, document. So click that. There's the prompt, and here's the thesis. So I'm going to take this, highlight it, Control C, go over here, Control V, boom. So the title of the painting is Forest Monster. And it's better because of 1, 2, and 3. Well, I've got the monster here, the knight here, and the foreground here, the front of the painting. So I'm going to say that because of the monster. Number 2, I'm looking at a picture of the knight. And number 3, I'm looking at the forest. Oh, okay, I got you. So now we've got to write a whole body paragraph, right? I know it says Raven Skull, but it's Forest Monster, right? There it is, right there. So I'm going to go ahead and get my whole body paragraph one. And if memory serves, and it doesn't have to, you can always go back here, right? Forest Monster. It's better because of the monster. Okay. So I'd write the same thing here. Forest Monster is better because of the monster. Next is context, background info about the painting, colors, overall composition. The painting is very adventurous. It shows a knight at full gallop towards the right hand side. The monster seems to be emerging from the mountains and forest. Okay, there's my context, my background info about the painting and overall composition. Now, the quotation here is just a very specific description of the painting. So let's take a look. Okay. The mouth of the monster is strung with vines, and this pattern follows down its neck. Its antlers are festooned with trees, pines to be precise. Its eye is glowing or shrouded by mist. Okay, so there's my very specific description, right? That would be a quotation if this were a story. Now I've got to do with this noun verb. This enormous monster, or wolf, enormous monster, arrests the audience's attention. If it were smaller and less incorporated with the background, go with environment, then the painting would be especially boring. This important fantasy theme really makes this an interesting painting. Now, the transition we have to write, right? It says transition. We have set up on the next slide. Take a look. So we've got to continue to address this prompt here, right? To evaluate as a judge, to analyze as a study closely, evaluate which work is better, and analyze a smaller section to support your answer, right? And we're going to use emphasis to keep selling this. So we're going to go from the monster to the knight. So I'm going to use obviously. Obviously, the monster is the most interesting part of the painting, comma, but without a doubt, the knight provides adventure and scale. Perfect, right? Now I go on to the next one. I've got body paragraph 2. Oh, trying to connect to Google. What a shame.